Hey guys, welcome back. Yes, I am back from hiatus. If you are new or you just didn't know, I took some time off after my last upload because with just everything going on, my mental health was on a rapid decline. But I'm back with a video that I do every 6 months and it's probably way overdone by now. My Unpopular Opinions video, where instead of making videos for each topic, I just combined them into one. And with how inconsistent I am on this channel, it's probably for the best that I do this instead. Anyways, before I get started, quick disclaimer, these are just my opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but please respect my opinions and the opinions of others. At the end of the day, we're not all going to agree on the same thing, but that doesn't mean we have to be rude to one another. And with that being said, onto the video. EXO has one of the best discographies in K-pop. I need people to start putting respect on EXO's discography. EXO has almost never disappointed when it comes to album releases, and each one they release is just as good, if not better than the previous ones. Not to mention, each of them have aged so well. You could probably go back and listen to Love Me Right, XOXO, even Exodus, and they would still hit as hard as they did when they first came out. Which reminds me, I need people to talk about Exodus more because that album, the power that album has. I mean, Exodus, Eldorado, Playboy, Hurt. That album was a whole ass moment. Anyways, if you haven't listened to EXO's discography, I highly recommend that you do. My personal favorites are Exodus, Don't Mess Up My Tempo, The War, and Exact. Dreamcatcher is painfully underrated. Honestly, to me, Dreamcatcher does not get enough credit as a group, and I feel like they get left out of the conversation when talking about talented powerhouse groups that have been raising the bar currently. I feel like at times the only time some people will bring up Dreamcatcher is when they want to mention groups that don't stick to a cute concept, which really isn't a big deal to begin with. And I feel like the conversations of their vocal ability, their stage presence, and how every stage they have is like watching it for the first time, and their current discography and how good it is, and the fact that they are able to not stray away from their original concept but still be able to experiment with different sounds in terms of their music that they release. However, I also blame 𝘕𝙬𝙀 Entertainment at the same time because I feel like they could be doing a lot more in terms of how they promote Dreamcatcher. I would like them to do more variety shows and make more appearances. Like, please, for the love of God, shove them in everybody's faces, I beg. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is stand Dreamcatcher. Also, if you have never listened to a song by them, I would recommend Silent Night, Black or White, July 7th, Red Sun, Scream, and There Was No One Left. Actually, just listen to their whole discography because again, their whole discography is so good and just does not disappoint. But moving on. Jay Park is not versatile, but he is influential. So one of his series of tweets caught my eye where he talked about being a versatile rapper or something along those lines, and personally I feel like with a lot of Jay Park's releases, it tends to follow a very similar formula that at times I wouldn't blame someone for not knowing the difference between any of his songs. I feel like when it comes to his songs, you're either going to get something on the lines of 𝘰𝙀 or The Truth Is, and nothing in between. I guess the closest I'll give him in terms of versatility would probably be his Worldwide album, and that's it for right now. Now, with that being said, I do think he is influential, just not the most influential. We can't deny that there are some people who do look up to him and are very much inspired by him, and believe it or not, some of your faves are probably also inspired by him. Not to mention what he's done for himself by signing to Roc Nation, having 2 labels, and building himself from the ground up and so forth. It definitely does deserve some credit, and I will definitely give credit where credit is due in that sense. However, to call yourself the most influential in Korean rap, as much as I can very much respect the arrogance, I feel like there are others who are a bit more influential than him, but he is still among the ranks of Epic High, Tiger JK, Yumin Ray, BY, and so forth when it comes to being influential, just not the most influential. Idol's Oh My God was underwhelming. I was honestly disappointed with Oh My God. I believe it had a lot of potential but was missing something that could have elevated the song and drove it home. I felt like it followed the same pattern of Lion, which to some people that may not be a big issue for them, but for me it followed the same pattern to the point where the 2 songs were similar to one another without sounding exactly the same. Lion was such a powerful song and well done with beautiful visuals, and because Oh My God to me followed the same pattern in terms of the song song's delivery, I feel like it prevented a song from having that moment that was meant to take you by surprise, or in other words, that shining moment. Personally, I was more into the song when watching the music video than I was when listening to the song on its own, which to me is not a good thing. However, I do love some of the lyrics, such as "You're detrimental to my health, but I ain't never leaving. I'm probably crazy, but I need it, want it, gotta have it. You may be poison, but sure as hell tastes like honey." Like, wow, that hit a little too close, and I'm not going to talk about why, but moving on. The music video, however, to me was gorgeous, captivating. The visuals were just wow. Also, Minnie was stunning in that music video, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Just chef's kiss. But yeah, gorgeous music video, but unfortunately a very underwhelming song. People need to acknowledge that not only one group contributes to the increase of popularity internationally, it takes the efforts of many groups who have laid the groundwork previously. So about a year ago, I made an Unpopular Opinions video where one of my opinions were that BTS paved the way in the Western market, and used the example of the Western market being represented by a wall and it taking multiple groups to break through that wall. Honestly, looking back, I did a really bad job explaining myself because most of the comments on that video thought I was talking about paving a way for all of K-pop, which is definitely not the case. But anyways, I'm considering redoing that entire section as its own video because I am not happy with the way I described my opinion on that video. But moving on, I feel like some people forget that the achievements and work done by previous groups helps open some, not all, the doors for groups today, and even though they may not be as big as some of the achievements now, they still mean something and still help push things forward. Someone mentioned this example in my previous video, but think of the efforts and achievements done by past and present groups and or singers as a road. Someone had to lay the foundation for others to be able to build off it. Someone may not be able to finish what they started, and where one leaves off, someone else continues, so that road can help others in the future and even open more opportunities. I mean, everything has to start somewhere, right? And the achievements of one can help others in the future. Looking back at the previous attempts of groups and singers, those achievements still mean something, no matter how big or small they are, because at that time some people didn't even think it would be possible for a group to get their own movie on Nickelodeon, a YouTube award, or be able to perform at Madison Square Garden, to now seeing a group be able to promote internationally, achieve more awards and recognition, even though it's still a very slow process. I feel like the groundwork from past groups to groups commonly known today are all still important efforts and achievements that will help more in the future, and mentioning that does not take anything away from a group's achievements nor belittles it. It just pays respect to all groups that have all worked hard from the past to present day. Korean artists should recognize and be aware of Black issues and should speak up about them. Now, this is the part of the video that turns into a rant, so I'm really sorry beforehand. I want to start off by saying that the Black Lives Matter movement is not a political issue but a human rights issue and does not only affect one country. I'll get back to this in a second. With the amounts of protests and people trying to bring awareness to the situation, I saw on my timeline a discourse about whether or not Korean celebs should speak up about the issue. Many Black fans, including myself, believe that they should and were disappointed and or hurt with groups and companies who didn't at the time speak up about the issue, especially early on when there are people such as Tiger JK, Jay Park, and even though I tend to be very critical about Jay Park, one thing I won't take away from him is that his heart is in the right place and that he uses his platform. There was also Vita, Crush, and a handful of others. But then, of course, there were many who felt like they didn't need to speak on the issue because it's not their problem. I remember even seeing people writing full-on essays as to why certain idols and groups will probably not speak on the issue, which I just want to say, some of y'all are way too comfortable gaslighting and invalidating the feelings of Black K-pop stans. But anyways, the reason why this concerns your faves and why they should speak up on it is because some, if not most of them, would not be here if it weren't for Black people. Some of the songs that y'all love to call Song of the Year or a cultural reset would have not existed without Black people. Some of the artists that your faves are inspired by, you guessed it, are Black people. So when most of their career is built off Black culture, yes, it concerns them too. Now, of course, as I'm recording this, more groups have spoken out about Black Lives Matter and or George Floyd. Now, there is a reason why people wanted idols and rappers to speak out about this, especially the ones with the biggest influence, because as soon as some of them like Johnny from NCT 127, Yeti from Red Velvet, BTS, Monsta X, ATEEZ, Ellie from EXID, Card, and so forth spoke out, literally what I saw on Twitter and in the comment section of those posts on Instagram were people asking Where can I sign petitions? How can I help? Where should I donate? Hell, when it was discovered that BTS donated $1 million to BML organizations, armies matched their million. There were fandoms who organized donation pools days earlier that saw over a 100% increase in donations, which is great, but it's also concerning how some people didn't care nor spoke out or try to raise awareness until their faves did. But we'll save that for another time. Now, I know some people are going to listen to this and say, well, some idols don't have control of their social media, which I get because look what happened to Denise, a secret number, who literally just debuted not too long ago. She posted about BML in her stories and almost immediately her Instagram was deactivated and the last picture of her on the secret number Instagram account was removed. Side note, that company can choke. Anyways, with that being said, I also have a very big problem with the companies that have said nothing but have utilized black people and or black culture, SM, and yet have said nothing despite knowing the impact their groups have. I'm going to end this rant with two things. One, if a black K-pop fan feels as if a group or artist's statement was the bare minimum or they were not content with their statement, they are allowed to feel that way. And if they felt like they couldn't stand a group anymore because they or the company did not use their platform to raise awareness about BML, they are not a fake fan and saying things like, well, glad all the fake fans are leaving, because once again, some of y'all are way too comfortable in validating the feelings of black K-pop fans. And lastly, do not use the BML movement to incite a fan war or a way to put down other groups based off who spoke out or who did not, because by doing so, that just shows that you did not care about them speaking out or raising awareness. You just cared more about having another reason to put down other groups and to make your group look better, and that shit ain't it. And before I move on to my next opinion, I will have a BML card link in the description below that has resources, information, and petitions and places to donate, along with links to videos that you can stream if you're not able to donate. And also, lastly, remember, BML is not a trend. Now moving on. Cheska's experiences as a former idol should not be dismissed. So earlier this year, former 5-star member Cheska went on Twitch to talk about her experiences as an idol and her experiences in the group 5-star, which ended up making its way onto Twitter. Now, I'm not going to come on here and bash any of the members of 5-star, and I understand the argument that there are 3 sides to every story, 1 side from each person, and the truth. However, the fact that some people went out of their way to invalidate her feelings and say that she was only doing this for clout, when I believe she has stated multiple times that she just wanted to live a normal life and move past it all, is just beyond me. And then to send some of the most vile things in her DMs was just outright disgusting, and then to bring up things that just have no relevance to the situation, such as people asking her why does she follow all the members of Blackpink except Lisa, almost looking for things to just use against her, was completely and utterly unnecessary. And then toxic sites such as 𝗃𝗄𝐃 and all K-pop, which I don't know why some of y'all still trust them, not making the situation any better by spreading false information about her live stream. For so long, people have wanted to hear more about what goes on behind the scenes, and when someone is finally willing to come forward and say, hey, as someone who actually was an idol and promoted, this is what I experienced, all of a sudden some of you guys don't want to hear it, and then some will have the audacity to tell them that they're wrong as if they were there promoting alongside with them. Also, I'm going to link an interview that Cheska did with Kpopcalypse in the description box below, because it was very interesting to read and understand things from her perspective. I feel as if it's important for former idols to be able to speak their truth when they want to and feel comfortable doing so. If you don't want to believe them or want to take it with a grain of salt, that is completely fine, but don't invalidate them nor their experiences. More and More by Twice was underwhelming. I was really looking forward to More and More, especially after seeing the teaser for it, and I don't even stand Twice, but I was still very much excited for it. Then after watching the music video and hearing the song, I was honestly disappointed. It's not a bad song, however, compared to their previous title tracks, this was a bit forgettable song-wise to me. I thought the girls looked gorgeous in the music video, and I really liked the choreography, but that's about it. In fact, honestly, after listening to the More and More mini album, which, side note, I really like the mini album, just putting it out there, I don't understand why this was the title track. The B-sides were way better than the actual title track. I mean, hello, Firework is right there being a whole ass bop, and you chose More and More, which I can see why they chose More and More promotional wise, but still, Miss Firework was sitting right there. But anyways, again, the song isn't bad, but if it were never released, I don't feel like I would be missing anything, or miss the song for that matter. Now, while I'm still on the topic of Twice, I just want to quickly say that I like the direction that JYP went in in terms of showing a mature side of Twice. It's not the typical idea of a mature side that you would usually see from other groups, but to me, from Fancy to More and More, it's done in a way that stays true to Twice's concept and sound, and you can still tell it's a Twice song, and I really like that. Sorry, I just really want to put that out there since I was still on the topic of Twice, but moving on. Ji Yoon leaving Bull4 was not surprising. It's no secret on my channel that I'm a big fan of Bull4. Just about 95% of my videos have at least one of their songs playing in the background, and it wouldn't be surprising if this video had their music playing as well. However, it never really set well with me, music-wise, how Ji Yoon was more like a background guitarist rather than a member of Bull4. I mean, it's one thing to have a small amount of lines in a group of like 6 or more members, but a duo, and all she gets is a few lines here and there or a harmony or two, but is mainly there just to write some of their songs and play the guitar. And to top it all off, with the difference in treatment between her and her bandmate, that just made the whole thing worse in my opinion. And I feel as if most of the spotlight was always on Ji Young, so Ji Yoon never really got her chance to shine, and it's really unfortunate the more I think about it. So I really don't blame her for being concerned over her own career, especially since the duo is currently at the peak of their career and is probably still feeling overshadowed by her own bandmate. I really do wish her well moving forward. She actually finally released some music not too long ago, and I will have it linked in the description box below. It's a shame that it had to come to her leaving Bull4 for her to finally get her moment to shine, but again, I wish her nothing but the best moving forward. Theory-driven music videos and concepts have run their course and doesn't automatically make a song good. Now, before someone gets mad or feels some type of way, I am actually someone who likes and admires theory-driven music videos and or concepts, especially trying to figure out symbolism. I am such a huge sucker for symbolism. I really like symbolism. I don't know why. I just enjoy figuring out symbolic meanings in music videos, but that's beside the point. As well as music videos that also tell a story, like 2NE1's Go Away, to Tierra's Cry Cry, and Speed's That's My Fault. I think when it's done well and there's actual effort put behind it, there's a lot of beauty that can come with that. But not every song has to have some type of deep meaning or deep concept behind it with 20 different theories that barely make any sense. And I think that at one point it definitely became a trend among companies to do these deep concepts because they saw the groups of other companies getting praise from these types of music videos and or concepts. But some, in my opinion, felt very much forced. And I also feel like there was also a trend among fans who would equate a song with a deep meaning with it being good. Just because a song has a deep theorized music video does not automatically mean that song is good. The two do not equate to one another. The song could be absolute rubbish and a deep music video is not going to change that, I promise. And it's also weird to see some people treat songs with deep meanings or theories behind it as top tier and then belittle songs that may not have a deep concept and are just meant to be lighthearted and fun. Like, there's nothing wrong with songs that are just meant to be fun. Some people just want to enjoy the song without having to think too much into the concept. It's not that big of a deal. But moving on. Top Media and Star Crew ruined Hotshot, Uptension, 100%, and Teen Top. I still plan to make a video about this in terms of Star Crew, but I'll include it in this video as well, but a much shorter version of it because both of these companies have made me very bitter over the years of how they treated and promoted both of their groups. Starting with Top Media, the company that gave us Teen Top, one of the strongest second generation groups that's literally known for their difficult footwork, went from promoting them constantly to promoting them once in a full moon and half-assing all of their promotions, and then doing the same thing to 100% and Uptension, in which both groups started off so strong and had so much potential and once again half-assed all their promotions, and on top of that barely promoted them, to the point that members from Uptension and 100% had to go on survival shows because as a company you couldn't be bothered to do right by them. And even after the survival show ends, in Uptension's case, instead of giving a 1 through 10 comeback and utilizing the popularity from the show, you decided to not put the two members who joined the show back in the group, promote them as soloists, and then half-ass the group's official comeback. Basically everything that they worked for on Produce X 101 to just go to waste. Please make it make sense. And then Star Crew. Star Crew, I have so many problems with this company, but I'm gonna really try to control myself before I get heated once again. You debuted a group forgot about them for 2 years, to the point where people were concerned that they quietly disbanded, and the members themselves were thinking that this was the end for them as a group. 2 members had to go on Produce 101 because you weren't giving the group a comeback. They worked their asses off on that show, which ended up paying off for them since they gained popularity from the show, especially Sungwoon, who ended up joining 101. They charted at number 7 during the Jelly era and were trending at one point, and were finally getting the recognition they deserved. And after the early flowering era, you threw that all away for them. You didn't give them a comeback after I Hate You. You didn't have Sungwoon join Hotshot for a comeback, which FYI, he is still a member of the group until it's officially announced that he is not. And now, 2 members, the leader and the maknae, Junhook and Hojong, are now doing their military service, and once again, Hotshot is not promoting and won't for a while, putting them again at square one. I am sick and tired and just annoyed at this point. All the work that these groups did just for their companies to just put it to complete waste, and I'm tired. And it's not only just these companies, there are so many others that just wasted any chance for their groups, and it's honestly so hard to watch sometimes. And with that, I'm gonna end this video here before I get upset again. Anyways, these are just some of my opinions based off the first half of 2020. Let me know if you agree with any of my opinions, if you disagree, and as well as any other opinions you may have. Please, again, respect the opinions of others. We are not all going to agree with one another, but it's nothing to fight and or insult each other over. I'm going to try to make more videos again, especially Z-pop videos, because there's a lot I want to talk about in terms of Z-pop. Again, if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe for more. Check out the description box below for links to Black Lives Matter, the hunger crisis in Yemen, Cheska's K-Populist interview, and Ji Yoon's YouTube channel, and I hope you guys come back for my next video. Bye guys!